Terminator.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loud Spot. I'm your host, Sebastian, right out of Oklahoma City. We got a great show for you tonight. The first person I do want to interview is this guest co-host. Keala is joining us first time on a podcast. So welcome, and we hope you enjoy. We hope you enjoy it. And then we got Sean from Middle Aged Queers. What is going on, dude?
Not much. Coming to you from Oakland.
Oakland, California, the Bay Area. And, dude, I got to thank you so much for coming on last minute, being on the show, came through with the clutch. I want to thank Andy Pohl from Sell the Heart Records for hooking this all up tonight. And I got to support him and wear his shirt. What I love about this shirt is I got the pink shirt and then Middle Aged Queers. A lot of your, like, it's like kind of like a hot pink. And you guys got some really cool merch,
Yeah, so we actually have a special Pantone color. It's Pantone 806. Okay. And that's what all of our merch has on it. It becomes such a pain in the ass for people printing T-shirts or like even doing our records for us. We're kind of sticklers about that color. But yeah. I worked in print design for years and years. And so when we initially started this band, we were riffing out ideas for merch. And this band never actually intended on like playing shows. Maybe we were going to record a demo. It was sort of this like we were joking about it being like our dad rock band that would never do anything. And then we started playing shows and putting out music. And so the merch happened after that. And we had this back catalog of like random funny ideas, like the Golden Girl shirt.
The Golden Girl shirt is awesome. Yeah, in fact, I showed my wife. I was like, "They got a Golden Girl shirt." I was like, "Yeah, I saw it."
We were like, wouldn't it be funny just to like rip off a Crass design and put the Golden Girls in it? And then someone was showing me their tattoo of the Kerplunk logo that they got when they were in high school, and I was like, I just was looking at it, and I was like, I'm just gonna swap out the colors for that green for our pink, like. So yeah, there's a bunch of like wacky stuff. It's so much of it is like derivative of like the stuff that we were into when we were kids.
Yeah, so neat though. Keala, did you have a question?
No, he brought up the pink. I just want to know, is that the color of I saw that you guys have a pink vinyl record that you guys released. Is that what did you call it? 809, 806?
806. So we had the pressing plant that did it is called Package Sounds, and they're out in Nottingham, England. And a buddy of ours works out there, Jesse Townley, who used to do vocals in Blatz, The Criminals, Grups. He's in the Pathogens now, and another band called Scene Killers. But he moved out there and got a job there, and then started recruiting all the bands from out here to get their stuff pressed out there. So I was like through emails with him, telling him the specifics of this color, and they got to as close to it as they possibly could.
All right.
Most people won't notice. I notice.
It's a slight difference.
Yeah, it's a little different.
And I knew this was a different color, pink, but still I had to support Sell the Heart for doing this for us. So how long has Middle Aged Queers been playing music for? I know you just said you started off not really wanting to do stuff. From the beginning, when did the band decide to get serious and start doing shows?
So we first started getting together in November of 2018. Okay. And our bassist has like a little auxiliary kitchen for his restaurant. He runs a vegan donut shop.
Nice.
And so we had this like auxiliary kitchen for that. And there was a supply closet that we were practicing out of in the back. It was like our fun, like midweek, like Wednesday night, we all get off work and we just like hang out and write songs. Mm-hmm. But we started telling people that we were doing that, and people started getting really excited because they'd known the bands that we were in before. Mm-hmm. So we started getting offered shows. We started playing the shows. So it just it took on a life of its own. I think people were really stoked about the concept more than anything. So people were enthusiastic from the start.
And what would you say the concept is?
So all of us have played in Bay Area bands, mostly punk or rock. I was in a band that was on Lookout Records called The Cost. And we were more of I guess the kids now are calling it scrams.
I don't think I've ever heard. And you know what though? You're in the Bay Area, and in the Bay Area, and I'm from the Bay Area. Moving to Oklahoma, there's way more like cooler terminologies and sayings and different genres of things people call things than here in Oklahoma.
Right. Well, like the taxonomy of punk rock is weird, right? Like, right. It's a subgenre of rock music, but then you have rock, and then you have punk rock. And then you have all these like subgenres of punk rock. So we were, and it's weird because when it's happening at the time, nobody calls it these funny names that people call it 20 years later. So like, I just thought I was in a hardcore band. Our guitarist thought that he was just in a hardcore band. But 20 years later, the kids are like, oh, you were in a Scrams band. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I was. So Mag was our guitarist was playing in Yaphet Kotto at the same time I was playing in the Cost. And we were actually on shows together, but like we never hung out. And Josh Levine is our bassist. He was the one that kind of instigated the whole thing. He was in Fang. He was in No Alternative and the Insaints. And at one point he did Bruce Luce's incarnation of Flipper. So he's been around for a minute.
There's so many bands. There's so many bands like punk rock underground bands in California. And Clay, you lived in Hawaii, right? Was there a lot of different? Like in Oklahoma, is it different from Hawaii as far as like the music scene goes, or is it similar to California, where there's like just a bunch of awesome bands that just play? There's always a good show to go to. I'm asking you, Clay.
Oh, Keala.
God dang, I knew I was gonna mess it up. Keala. You know what? Yeah, Keala.
Oh my God, who's he talking to? No one. As far as like rock and punk, I don't think that there's that big of a. I don't want to say there's not that big of a scene. However, I know I was just telling you this the other night. Like when I lived in Hawaii, I loved the concerts that were there. Like a lot of punk bands would come there, like Bad Religion, and then who else did we see? But you were telling me that they don't have tours there, so that was shocking to me.
Yeah, well, no, they have tours. I think they have tours in Hawaii, but like I would say there's probably less tours that go on in Hawaii, because when you've been on tour, I don't know if Middle Aged Queers has been on tour, but Sean, you've probably been on. Have you toured like a U.S. tour in any other band you've been in?
Oh yeah, plenty. And
would you say that Hawaii is kind of a place that you maybe don't go to as often because it's just kind of not en route anywhere?
So I personally go to Hawaii quite often because my in-laws still live there. My husband is from Oahu.
Cool.
And we actually had Middle Aged Queers had planned to go out and play. We were going to play Kailua, Hilo, and then 2 shows on Honolulu. In May of 2020, we had tickets, we had shows all booked out, and hotels booked, everything. And then, of course, obviously, we had to cancel it all. So we're still planning on going back out there, probably in 2022. But I personally love playing at the places that like people don't really go to all that often. Mm-hmm. Like in no, it was Kona. Sorry to whatever city I just made up.
Hey, that's okay. I made up my own name for Keala. I said Kalea. Making up names, making up cities, whatever. We do what we want, right?
We found out that, like, if we had played in Kona, we would have been the first rock band from the mainland to play there since Hoobastank played there in 2010.
Wow.
And I love stuff like that because then you are what's happening that night. Like, you are the only entertainment. So regardless of, like, here out in Oakland, like, there's so many shows and you have to pick between what we were talking about before. You have to pick from subgenres of punk rock. And it dilutes the amount of people that'll be in attendance. But if I'm playing a show in Lawton, Oklahoma, I can guarantee that everyone's available is going to be there. I much prefer playing shows like that than playing to like 5 people in Los Angeles and going, oh, wow, I thought that this would be better,
that's an interesting concept. I guess people don't really think about that. If you're in a band, but you're playing in a big city that's used to a lot of concerts, you are going to have less people than playing somewhere that's going to be that gets less venues. So
right.
yeah.
Right. At one point we were talking about like, wouldn't it be cool just to like map out cities that are, you know, like second, third tier cities, and just fly out there, like rent a back line and just play. And because we know that we'd be the only thing happening that night and it'd be fun, as opposed to, you know, going to a place where you don't know, you never know, like you might be up against Bad Religion that night and no one.
Right. Is Middle Aged Queers planning on doing, on taking this to the next level? I know you guys are playing some shows in California. Do you guys plan on doing some bigger tours sooner than later?
Yeah. I mean, we had a bunch of stuff all lined up for 2020. And obviously that didn't happen. We're just kind of waiting to see like if they're going to roll back restrictions again. I think every band and every venue is sort of like, do we want to invest this much time and energy?
Mm-hmm.
Because I got stuck with like a office full of T-shirts and records for months because I was like, we're going on tour. We got to get lots of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I don't necessarily want to do that again, but I think sometime next year. There's a festival out in Bremen that we want to go to in April. So that would be big. I've never played off this continent, so that'd be huge for me. But besides
awesome.
that, like playing in other states, you know, like Nevada's like 4 hours away, and we still haven't played there.
Right. Okay.
But we were a fairly new band when the pandemic hit. You know, we don't.
Yeah, so then the pandemic hits, and then you can't really do anything, right? Yeah. It's totally screwed everything up. Do you guys actually have a full album out?
So we have the 8-song record, the 10-inch on Sell the Heart, and that is by Spotify standards an album.
Okay.
So you know, we basically looked at like we rented 2 days at this place called House of Faith. This guy named Bart Thurber, he's recorded everybody from like 15 to Spaz to Mohin. Like he's just recorded everybody in the Bay Area. We rented 2 days with him, and we were like hoping that maybe we could have enough for an EP. Like maybe we'd get like 2 or 3 songs, and worst case scenario would be like a demo tape. And then when we were like in the control room listening to it, I was like, there's not a bad song out of this group. Like we should just put them all out at the same time. So that's what we did, and we found out then that Spotify and Apple Music and whatever had sort of moved the goalpost back on what's considered a full length. The next record will have 7 songs, but it's the same length. There's a 6-minute song on it.
Okay. Wow. That's pretty hard for a punk band to have a 6-minute song, right?
Yeah, it's a weird number too. But you know, none of us are really like stuck on any sort of like type of sound. To all of us, it's just punk.
Right,
so like,
right. Oh yeah.
You know, like a 6-minute song doesn't mean anything. You know, the first record had a song that wasn't even a minute. So.
Right, yeah, dude. I love those fast. I love those fast punk rock songs. Keala, I'm still so laughing in my head that I called you a different name, and I knew I was going to do that when we did this show, and I should have pre-warned everyone. I'm going to say your name wrong because it's not a normal name. But the more you do with these, the less it'll happen. But I can't promise it will not happen again. So,
I need to.
Yeah, let's play the song "Size Queen," which